everybody, it's Caroline here with Ali.
Hiya.
And we're from PCGamesN, and we are chatting to you about everything you need to know about League of Legends patch 9.2. So we're here for the first patch of 2019, and we're here in our little glitzy studio.
We are. We've got our statues, we've got our Teemo hats, we've got Tibbers.
We do, and he's so adorable. But more importantly, we have a new champion coming out. Sylas the Unshackled, tell me everything that I need to know.
Okay, so we're going to start with the backstory because personally I think it's really interesting. So if you've been following League of Legends for a long time, you'll know that two of the major city-states in Runeterra are Demacia and Noxus. Noxus, everyone's a bad guy. It's all about spying, it's very warmongering, kind of dictatorship kind of deal. Whereas Demacia is the exact opposite of that. It's about honor and justice and looking after the little guy. And all of its champions reflect that. Characters like Jarvan and Garen, this is what they do. Sylas is not that at all. Sylas is like Demacia's supervillain. He's been locked up for 15 years because he killed people, and Demacia hates magic and he is a mage. So yeah, I think it's a really interesting place for them to take Demacia's story for this brand new champion.
So it's really interesting because he doesn't really look like a mage, right? So in his art, he's really powerful and really strong. I mean, do you think that's really reflected in his kit as well? Yeah,
definitely. So he's got these huge magical chains on his wrists that he's they kept him in captivity with them. He's now broken free, but there's remnants of them still on him. And he uses all of these for his spells. So his passive, every time he casts one of his abilities, he kind of whips these chains in a circle around him, dealing damage. For his Q, he slams them on the ground in an X shape. For his E, he uses them to kind of reel himself into people. So yeah, he's a very much more physically powerful mage than you traditionally see in a lot of other champions. People like Lux or people like Vel'Koz, for example, are kind of small and not necessarily dainty, but they don't wield the same kind of physical power that Sylas looks like he does.
So it seems like his powerfulness and his strength is reflected in his kit then. But there is just one thing that you haven't mentioned, and that's his ultimate. So what can you tell me? Okay,
so Sylas's ultimate is called Hijack, and it essentially allows him to steal the ultimate of any enemy champion in the game. So when you use it, chains fly out of Sylas, they ensnare your target, and you kind of grab the ultimate from them, and you can use it for a limited time. It's a lot like Zoe's ability to steal summoner spells from an enemy champion, although she does it in a much more passive way. Sylas is picking out a target and taking their ultimate, but it is important to note that once he's stolen an ultimate, he can't re-steal it for a period of time. So you have to pick your target carefully and figure out how their ultimate is going to work into a team fight.
So that makes a lot of sense. What I really want to know is, how do you think this is going to affect team fights? Because I mean, if you can steal people's ults and actually use them, like, how do you think that will work? And do you think it's kind of game-changing in that way?
I don't know, it's kind of a difficult one because I think there's obviously a lot of similarities with Neeko, who was the most recently released champion, and she can steal or take on the form of allied champions. And while that's a lot of fun to play around with, it's not necessarily something that I foresee being a big part of professional play. And this is a similar thing with Sylas, where, he's an interesting character to play with. He's not necessarily someone who you can reliably pick around in a professional sense. He has the potential to disrupt quite a lot of an individual game, but as for the pro scene, I'm not convinced that he's going to be a big player in that.
Okay, so that's everything that you need to know about Sylas, but what I want to know now, what's going on with the new champion changes?
Okay, so biggest changes this time around are to Neeko, who obviously just arrived quite recently, and to Yorick. So with Neeko, the biggest change is to her E, which is called Shape Splitter. Whereas previously she got to go invisible for 2 seconds and send out a clone of herself for 2 seconds, that's going up to 3 seconds, so she'll get a bit more flexibility around that piece of kit. Otherwise, she's getting an increased cooldown on her ultimate, so she'll be able to have a bit less of an impact on team fights. Other major change this patch is to Yorick, so he'll now be able to summon his ghouls more quickly. It'll take fewer graves to be able to summon them, and also there are changes to his ultimate. So his Maiden of the Mist, now he'll be able to recast the ability and just send her off down a lane. So if he'd like her to split push while he goes off and does something else, he'll be able to do that.
Right, so that's everything that we need to know about champions, but what about skins? So we know that Sylas has a launch skin, but then what about the 2 new events that are coming up, right? So we've got Chinese New Year and Valentine's Day. What can we expect to see there?
Okay, so for Lunar Revel, for Chinese New Year, there are 3 new skins. There's Queen Emperor Kench, Firecracker Vayne, and my personal favourite is Firecracker Sejuani, where Bristle, her boar, transforms into an adorable Year of the Pig style pig, and when she recalls, she kind of bangs a drum and 3 little piggies come and dance around Bristle, and it's incredibly adorable. And then there's also Valentine's Day skins. So this time we have Heartbreaker Vi and Heartpiercer Fiora, who are kind of kitted out in kind of big floral pink kind of Regency style outfits for this one. And that's also, yeah, this really nice set of skins this time.
So we know what Ali's favourite skin is, but what is your favourite skin? Let us know in the comments below.
If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, comment and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.
Bye bye.